book of Ahava, love, the expression of God, love towards God. And one of the ways we show that expression is through the mitzvah of Tefillin. So we're learning the laws Tefillin, mezuzah, Torah scroll, and so on. So we're in chapter 2. In what manner are Tefillin, the phylacteries, if you will, right, placed on the head, written? So there's 4 passages are written on the 4 pieces of parchment. So the head tefillin, hold on, I'm going to get a pair of tefillin, make it easier to learn. Okay. This is made from one piece of leather, molded together, one piece. And here you can see, I hope you can see, these are 4 compartments over here. This is the head tefillin, goes on the head. Something like that. It's not my tefillin, so they're a bit small for me. So this is what we're talking about here, that separate 4 passages, the first 2 chapters of the Shema, here, and then from Shmois, actually we learned this yesterday. So yesterday, what's written in here. In the book of Exodus, also there's 2 paragraphs. So 2 from Deuteronomy, 2 from Exodus. The 4 times that tefillin are mentioned in the Torah, they are the 4 passages that are written. 4 pieces of parchment, rolled, closed, each in a separate entity. And they're placed in 4 compartments, like I just showed you, which are covered by a single piece of leather. The 4 passages of the tefillin placed on the arm. Now that was the head tefillin. This is the arm tefillin. If you notice, it's all one box, so there's no separation here, because here they're all placed, the 4 passages, in one big roll and put inside here, rolled inside. All right, so the 4 passages filled out on the arm are written on 4 columns on a single parchment. Oh, you have it there? Oh, that was the Rambam. Okay. They should be rolled closed like a Torah scroll from the end to the beginning and placed in a single compartment, like I just showed you. So you roll it not from the beginning to the end, but from the end to the beginning, so that way when you open it up, you're starting from the beginning. Care must be taken in writing these passages. If one wrote a passage which should be a stuma as a psucha, so a stuma means closed. It means, we're going to learn that later, yeah, the exact, right. So stuma means closed. It means that here, well, let's take an example over here. You see this line where over here that I highlighted it? You can see it highlighted, yeah? It's highlighted in blue. You can see that, yeah? So you would have in between the amount of, I think it's 9 letters. Oh boy, if I remember correctly. And then open space, and then you would start here writing, and it would be, so that's called closed, meaning you have a beginning of the line and the end of the line, but in the middle there's open space. Right? That's called a stuma. A psucha means that you would have this open all the way to the end, and you would start on this line here. And you would actually start, because it's got to be 9, I think, again, 9, was it 9? Right. So here, this would be left open, and you would write the next word on the next line. So it's open, first word on the next line. Doesn't even have to be the beginning of the line, because you need space. Again, I think it's 9, if I recall, 9 letters in between of openness. So let's say you went to here. Let's say it was written all the way to here, to the end. So you count here, let's say 3, and then you count here another 6. So you're going to start over here. So now if you made a mistake and did it not the way it's supposed to be, in other words, a psucha, you make it a stuma, and a stuma you make it a psucha, that invalidates the writing. Okay. So if one wrote a passage where there should be a stuma as a psucha, or a passage should be a psucha and you did it as a stuma, it's invalid. It's not kosher. The tefillin aren't good. It has to be rewritten. The first 3 passages are all psuchas. So in the first 3, there's only psuchas, no stumas. In other words, you beginning writing on the next line. And in the final passage, Vahaya im Shemaya is a stuma. Okay. One must be careful regarding the spelling of the words of these passages with regard to using the short or the full form. The manner in which these 4 passages are written in Tefillin should resemble the manner they are written in Torah scroll. That has been checked for accuracy in this regard. When one writes a word which requires a short form using the full form, it is invalid until one erases the extra letter. If one writes a word that requires a full form using a short form, it is invalid and may not be corrected. Because it had to be full form and you use short form, you have no space for it. So it can't be corrected. You have to start writing again. These are the corrected spellings of words that present difficulties with regard to short and full forms in the 4 passages. So, okay. Parsha Rishon. In the first passage of Kadesh Li Kol Bechor, so the word Bechor is full. Here, if you want to see in the Hebrew, what does it mean full? You see there's a vav here? That makes it full. Meaning fully written out. The vowel is written in. Because you could write the word Bechor without the vav. Like also Zachor, right? To remember. Here it's full. It's called Maleh in Hebrew. Full form, right? And so here it has the vav. Now look at over here. Bechoizik, which means strong. It doesn't have the vav there. It's got a cholem. You can see a little dot on top of the ches. That's called chaser. That's called short form. Long form would be you would put a vav in there, fully spelt out, right? Why is it that way? For whatever reason, that's not important. What's important in here in these laws, that if you wrote the word chozik with a vav, then you'd have to erase the vav. If you wrote here Zachor without the Vav, you can't put the Vav in because the letters would be too close. You wouldn't be able to put it in. The whole thing's invalid. Here you could erase, here if you put the Vav in this word, you could erase it, and as long as it looks like it's still one word, it would be okay. If it would look like it's two words because of the Vav separating and there's a space now, then that would be itself an issue. Right? Is that clear what I just explained? Thumbs up? Yeah? Okay, good. All right, we're going to stop here because the rest is going through all of this stuff. What is full, what is not full, and so on. We got the basic idea. What we see over here is precision that is necessary. Let's just do maybe a little, I'm not going to go through that because care must be taken regarding the placement of the crowns on letters. They are formed like small zayin, like a zayin. On tops of the letters that possess crowns, as in Torah scroll. These are letters that possess crowns in these 4 passages. Now he's going to go through that, every detail. If you're off on something, it could invalidate the whole writing, which is pretty powerful. Pretty powerful. Okay, we'll see you tonight, 6:30, Torah studies. You don't want to miss it. The breaking of the tablets. The sin of the golden calf. And powerful message.